Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com. This is the chart, the solar partial eclipse. Notice that word partial. It's not a full-on eclipse. 25th of October. It's set for London, and that was at 11:48 BST. Now, I can't not start this recording by mentioning that we now have a new Prime Minister, and he went to see the King, the new King Charles, and the timing was exquisite. His first speech, Rishi Sunak, was timed exactly virtually to this particular chart. I don't think that is any coincidence. I think this man, he's a Hindi, he knows about, I would presume he knows astrology, and I've just noticed that the next budget will be when the sun moves into Scorpio in Vedic astrology, the science of light. Now let's go back. This is the eclipse. Here's the moon, the sun, Venus, all together in Scorpio, Western astrology. Here's the south node, 13. The reason it's partial is because of the difference. That's quite a wide conjunction with the axis, the nodal axis. Now, Venus is invisible. That's really important for all things social, if you are very Venusian. And Venus will reappear in December as an evening star. It's currently has been a morning star. So it's like it's literally disappeared. No one can see it in the sky. And this is a very symbolic journey of Venus with the goddess in the underworld, the unconscious. It relates to the myth of Persephone. It also relates to the myth of Inanna and Ereshkigal. I will be doing a presentation on this. Now, we have Mercury is now forward. It's in Libra. So I'm looking at the positive first of all. So you can see there's Mercury in Libra with a very good trine to Mars in Gemini. And Mars is in the sign of Mercury. Now, the Mercury moves fast, right? Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So therefore, what Mars is doing is very, very important. The new ruler, of course, of Scorpio is Pluto, but Pluto is a very, very slow-moving planet. So I prefer to look at Mars. And first off, Mars will be going retrograde, and that will happen on October the 30th, in a few days' time, spending a very, very long time in Gemini. So wherever Gemini is in your birth chart will be activated by Mars, the planet to do with action, and because it's Gemini, it's to do with communication, to do with words and writing, and Gemini is very much to do with the arms, so technical skills as well. Now, the next eclipse, we're in eclipse season, will be the lunar eclipse, and that's on November the 8th. And that really is a humdinger of an eclipse, because Uranus, which here you can see Uranus very close to the node of the moon, but we will get the moon joining Uranus exactly at that lunar eclipse. And a lunar eclipse lasts for a month. Solar eclipses, that degree, which is 2 of Scorpio, lasts for approximately about 6 months. Depends on how long the eclipse lasted. But if that's your chart, notice where Scorpio is. Now, one piece of research has come to light is that huge numbers of people have a planet in Scorpio, not just sun sign Scorpios like myself. And I publish this on my website in my newsletter as well. So through the months of Scorpio, the majority of people will have one of these planets activated. So that's something to observe, and always to notice your dreams. One dream I had last night was the focus on Scorpio as the shaman. Scorpio is the only sign that has 3 symbols. The well-known Scorpio with the scorpion with the sting in its tail, when I grew up, I did not want to be thought of in any way as a sun sign Scorpio because of that particular horrible little insect. Nasty. But Scorpio is also the eagle, the planet of vision that has, that soars up in that sky, and it's got extraordinary good eyesight. And then finally, Scorpio is the phoenix or the dove that rises from the ashes. So you can see it's not an everyday ordinary sign because of this. And hopefully we find in our lives, if we are influenced by Scorpio, that we do rise up until that vision level and then finally the mastery of the phoenix. Now, also, what have we got here? We've got Saturn is now direct. Where's Saturn? Let's find Saturn a moment. Here it is, Saturn. It's now direct. It's in Aquarius. And it is still at this right angle, this tension, this square to Uranus. This is an ongoing, it's not new. Saturn is the tradition, the old. It's also a sign to do very much with humanity. And Uranus is in a sign it's not at all comfortable in, which is Taurus, to do with the land and farming and food and comfort. So this will gradually ease off by the end of the year, but it's still relevant at this new, it is obviously a new moon. Now the other important thing, Mars, is that it is trining. I've said there's a square, but I'm just coming back to the trine, the flow of energy, which over the next few days it becomes exact as Mercury connects totally with Mars. The other thing happening this week, there's an awful lot happening at the moment, is Jupiter is moving backwards, it's retrograde, into Pisces on October the 28th, and it stays in Pisces until December the 20th, when it goes back into Aries. Now, Jupiter is very happy. Planets can be happy in signs, and Jupiter is extremely happy in Pisces. It's the spiritual aspect, and it's traditional, the ruler of Pisces. Now we have Neptune, of course, there as well in Pisces. So this, to me, this is a really important solar eclipse, and the events over the last week have been in the UK extraordinary. So the build-up to an eclipse is very relevant. And it's called her Theresa May, Liz Truss, the now ex-Prime Minister, has got the sun at 2 degrees of Leo. So I could see very clearly that this eclipse at 2 of Scorpio would challenge her leadership, and lo and behold, it did. But she didn't actually leave until the day of the eclipse. Bless her. So now, to look forward, notice the positive. Jupiter in Pisces is a good transit. Notice Mercury will also move into Scorpio on the 29th of October. So we're going to have a very intense lunar eclipse. Eclipses are always times to avoid launching everything, because they are times of quiet, of meditation, of going within, which is why I didn't record this yesterday, because I was also caught up in the events that are happening in the UK and the timing of such events. It's fascinating that Rishi Sunak is a sun sign Taurus. Jeremy Hunt is sun sign Scorpio. King Charles is sun sign Scorpio. So, and I haven't looked at all the other people now in the cabinet, but certainly this conjunction, or this opposition, should we say, of the talents and expressions of Scorpio to go deep into the unconscious. It's about power and the right use of power, and then the status quo, which is Taurus. On a final note, in the Vedic astrology system which I use, the signs go back by about 23 degrees. So therefore Rishi Sunak is now actually a sun sign Aries, where the sun is exalted. The Queen also, Taurus, she had the sun sign exalted in Taurus, so in Aries. That's why a lot of rich people are Western Taurians, but Vedic or Jyotish, they become Aries. And a planet, when it's exalted, does its absolute best. And Aries is leadership. So on that note, read my newsletter, find out what planet you have in Scorpio that will be activated every year, but especially this year with these two powerful eclipses, the partial solar and then the lunar. And I am available for consultations. I'm booking quite into the whole of next November at the moment. So I also have a special offer, which will finish on November the 8th. So please check in if you are looking for a good consultation. I'm your person. Thank you for watching Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com.